Chapter 362. Blood Spirit Queen. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. The blood fog became thicker and thicker. Not only did it encircle around them, but it also covered the entire sky. How did it suddenly become foggy? Almost immediately, Zhang Yuochen and Hu Qinai held their breath at the same time. They dared not to inhale the blood fog. What happened? Did we break into a forbidden area? Hu Qinai frowned and took back the beating soul bell. He pinched it in his palm and was ready to attack. It was too odd. Zhang Yuochen glanced at Hu Qinai and said with laughter, "You are the most powerful warrior in Omen Ridge. Are you still afraid to break into a forbidden area?" Hearing what Zhang Yuochen said, Hu Qinai was no longer nervous. After all, he had a very powerful cultivation. Except the death reach in Tongming River and some caves of 5th level savage beasts in Omen Ridge, there was no danger to him in other forbidden areas. Hu Qinai glared at Zhang Yuochen, but he was not in a hurry to beat him. Instead, he looked into the fog and raised his voice, "I am Hu Qinai, the chief chairman of Poisonous Spider Club." "Who are you? Please show yourself." If it were in the past, as long as Hu Qinai said his name, regardless of whether the other side was a master on the side of righteous or evil, he would definitely flee at the first opportunity. However, it was very strange today. The blood fog did not dissipate, on the contrary, it became denser and denser. Some strange sounds came from the blood fog. Not only Hu Qinai but even Zhang Yuochen began to feel tense. He said secretly, "In Omen Ridge, apart from a few people, who would dare to provoke the chief chairman of Poisonous Spider Club?" Suddenly, a woman's strange cry could be heard from the blood fog. Swoosh! A blood-red shadow flew out of the fog and stretched out her arms to leap at Hu Qinai. "You dare to sneak attack me? You are courting death." Hu Qinai coldly and immediately fired out the beating soul bell, which hit the blood-red figure and knocked her to the ground. It was a woman who dressed in bloody clothes, with lines of red blood meridian on her body. At the moment Hu Qinai rushed to kill her, she suddenly jumped up from the ground and dashed into the fog again and disappeared. So powerful. Unprecedented seriousness appeared in Hu Qinai's eyes. He had not worn such an expression even when he encountered Zhang Yuochen. Given his cultivation, people who could directly one of his attacks and not die were at least a warrior in the completion of Heaven Realm. The main point was, the other person was still able to flee after being hit by beating soul bell. This strength of body was too startling. Even if Zhang Yuochen were hit by the bell, his body would probably be dismembered. Zhang Yuochen's fingers held his chin and he showed a look of contemplation. Suddenly, with his pupil lighting up, he seemed to have thought of something. He said, "Is she a blood spirit? Blood spirit? How could such a ghost thing appear in Omen Ridge? No one can refine it." Hu Qinai said, "Don't be so sure." Zhang Yuochen said, "If I am right, it should be her." "Who?" Hu Qinai asked. Just then, a road opened up through the blood fog and a beautiful woman with long hair walked out. Zhang Yuochen's and Hu Qing's eyes were attracted to her immediately. She looked as if she was in her 20s and an evil breath came from her. There was a light spot in her glabella, which was full of divinity. Divine aura emitted from the spot and formed a sharp contrast to her evil aura. Behind her were 6 people dressed in blood-stained clothing, 4 men and 2 women. All of their blood meridians were prominent and formed dense blood-colored lines. Of the 6 people, 1 woman was the one who was previously hit by the bell. All of them possessed blood-red eyes, looked devilish, and had long fangs. They were staring at Zhang Yuochen and Hu Qinai with their eccentric eyes. "They really are blood spirits." Hu Qinai gasped as he saw the 6 blood spirits with green faces and ferocious fangs. He felt lucky that the 6 were only ordinary blood spirits. Ordinary blood spirits only had a cultivation in the completion of Heaven Realm. Of course, they had strong bodies, which could be considered indestructible. For common warriors in the completion of Heaven Realm, meeting an ordinary blood spirits meant death. Only masters at the completion of Heaven Realm could contend against ordinary blood spirits. Given Hu Qinai's cultivation, he could deal with these ordinary blood spirits, though the process might be a little difficult. What made him most fearful was the beautiful woman who stood in front of the blood spirits. Where did she come from? It seemed that those 6 blood spirits all took orders from her. People who could refine blood spirits were definitely formidable. Zhang Yuochen recognized that woman immediately. She was Lu Han. Back then, after being killed by Zhang Yuochen in Shikong's secret mansion, Lu Han's body was occupied by Half-Saint's light, which was left by Golden Cloud Half-Saint and turned into a bloodthirsty evil creature. The school of the martial market had sent many masters to capture her, but she still managed to escape. Since she escaped from Chikong's secret mansion, she left tracks in many commanderies of Omen Ridge. She caused a large number of slaughters and she sucked people's blood to promote her cultivation. One suzerain had all their warriors turn into dried corpses after she sucked away all their blood, and all the people in a city were killed by her, who turned the city into a necropolis. She had become so formidable at this time. If she continued to kill, she would soon completely blend with Half-Saint's light and turn into an evil bloodthirsty Half-Saint. Compared to how she looked when she was just born, she looked much more normal now. Her rage had disappeared and even a ray of intelligence could be seen in her eyes. Obviously, with the promotion of her cultivation, she had regained some memory and thinking ability. She no longer wanted to just suck blood. Lu Han seemed to recognize Zhang Yuochen. She stared at him with a pair of eyes that were both evil and beautiful and gave a wicked smile. Then she said, "I know you, Zhang Yuochen." Zhang Yuochen stood with a sword. He narrowed his eyes and said, "You've actually recovered your memory?" "Ha ha. One half of my memories come from Lu Han, and the other comes from Golden Cloud Half-Saint. However, both of their memories are lacking. I could only recall some memories, but they are enough because I want to be a brand new me. From now on, you can call me Blood Spirit Queen." She continued, "Back then if I weren't killed by you, there wouldn't be such miracle." "Zhang Yuochen, how should I thank you for it?" Suddenly, an air of coldness came from the Blood Spirit Queen. The long hair on her head flew about without wind. Each hair was like a rapier, flying in the air with a swishing sound. "Oh woo!" The 6 blood spirits standing behind her also roared. They exposed their sharp claws and teeth. As long as the Blood Spirit Queen gave an order, they would immediately rush forward and turned Zhang Yuochen into a dried corpse. Hu Qinai bowed to Blood Spirit Queen and said, "Since your excellency is seeking Zhang Yuochen for revenge, I will leave first as to not bother you." Hu Qinai wanted to know the location of that ancient cave from Zhang Yuochen, but he did not want to lose his life. The Blood Spirit Queen was obviously not a good person. Given his current state, he would not be her opponent at all. "You want to go?" Blood Spirit Queen sneered. She put out a white arm and her 5 fingers bent to form a claw to use the power of Half-Saint's light to attack Hu Qinai. Hu Qinai's face changed. He immediately demonstrated his bodily movement and fled into the distance. Suddenly, his body, not under his own control, flew up from the ground and was suspended 2 meters in the air. His body was stretched out and he unable to move. How could this be? "Who the hell are you?" Hu Qinai felt extreme dread. He had never encountered such a powerful figure who could easily lift him in the air. Blood Spirit Queen was expressionless. A strange power condensed in her palm which drew Hu Qinai into her hands. Swoosh! Drops of blood spilled from Hu Qinai's paws and turned into spiritual blood which swarmed into the Blood Spirit Queen's palm and entered Blood Spirit Queen's body. The blood of a warrior in the fish dragon realm is really delicious. Absorbing your blood will certainly make me stronger. The Blood Spirit Queen revealed an intoxicated expression and she continued to inhale Hu Qinai's spiritual blood. The light spot in her globula became brighter and brighter until a holy halo was formed. On the contrary, Hu Qinai was yelling the entire time and the sound coming from him was absolutely wretched. If Zhang Yuochen didn't escape now, when would he do it? Bam! Zhang Yuochen bent his legs and with the power of ejection, his body rushed out like a bomb. In the next moment, he had landed on a hill that was several hundred meters away. Without any pause, Zhang Yuochen continued to use Shadow of the Royal Wind Dragon to charge into the jungle. Given the strength of the Blood Spirit Queen, even if I have refined the holy blood of Golden Cloud Half-Saint, I'm afraid that it will still be difficult for me to take back the Half-Saint's light. I'll flee to the school of the martial market first, then I'll consider more. Zhang Yuochen was proficient in a secret spell. As long as he had the blood of a Half-Saint, he could take away the Half-Saint's light easily. The Blood Spirit Queen had absorbed the Half-Saint's light of Golden Cloud Half-Saint, while Zhang Yuochen imbibed the holy blood of Golden Cloud Half-Saint. If Zhang Yuochen used the secret spell, he would have some chance to take away the Half-Saint's light and then Blood Spirit Queen. However, the Blood Spirit Queen was as strangely powerful. even Hu Qinai was defenseless in front of her. Even if Zhang Yuochen used that secret spell, he had only 30% chance to take the half-saint's light away. The remaining 70% was being sucked to death. He was not even 50% of sure. So it was better for him to run for his life. At this moment, Zhang Yuochen looked behind him from the corner of his eyes and he felt surprised suddenly. The 6 blood spirits were following behind him. Zhang Yuochen's martial soul was damaged, so he could not use heaven and earth spiritual chi. Therefore, his speed slowed down a lot. Quickly, he was caught up by the 6 blood spirits. Blood spirits are really fast. One of the blood spirits attacked Zhang Yuochen. Its 2 claws aimed to grab Zhang Yuochen's head. Before it came to him, Zhang Yuochen had scented the smell of blood. He did not know how many people's blood it had sucked. Boom! Zhang Yuochen shot an elephant galloping towards the blood spirit's chest and sent it flying out. The blood spirit was not hurt at all. It jumped up and once again attacked Zhang Yuochen again. What a freakish defensive power! No wonder it could survive after suffering a hit from Hu Qinai. Given Hu Qinai's cultivation at the first change in the fish dragon realm, he would be able to kill an ordinary blood spirit. He just needed to spend more effort. For a warrior at the completion of the heaven realm, if they met an ordinary blood spirit, they should immediately flee for their lives and not meet them head-on. Zhang Yuochen also wanted to escape, but unfortunately, he encountered the 6 blood spirits. Even if he wanted to escape, he could not. If my cultivation has entered into the advanced stage of the heaven realm, my speed will be improved. Then, even if the 6 blood spirits wanted to kill me, I will have a chance to escape. Zhang Yuochen sighed. He had just broken into the mid-stage of the heaven realm. It was too difficult to enter into the advanced stage of the heaven realm. Right now, he could only fight it out.